tonight. So we are recording. So welcome everyone. This is a special treat tonight. I'm so excited to get to welcome our guest speaker tonight. My name is Polly Brothers. I'm a regional vice president and independent consultant with Arbonne. And I know Shandi just because I think I reached out to you
You did.
a while back, and we just kind of communicated. And I just want to say thank you because Shandi actually has poured into me spiritually. And just also just because of who you are, I've really followed you, and I feel like you have so much character, and you've just really influenced me in this business without even knowing it. So I just want to say thank you to you for that. My selfie light just went off, so I don't know what's going on there, but that's okay because it's not about me tonight. So I'm so glad that it's not. But I am going to read something that Shandi sent to me. I asked her to send me this. So I wanted to make sure that I just kind of gave you guys a good introduction. So she desperately wanted to leave corporate America and spend more time with her family. But financially, she couldn't afford to leave until she discovered this life-changing opportunity called Arbonne. And I'm sure she's going to tell you more about that. But she started her Arbonne business with a huge vision to change her life, her family's life, and the life of so many others. So welcome you guys if you're hopping on. And you guys, please go ahead and mute. I forgot to ask you to do that if you don't mind doing that. And we're just introducing Shandi Starks. I'm so excited. And so she hopped into this business really with just that vision and that heart to change lives and the life of others. And when you do that, like you can't go wrong. And eventually her husband, Adrian, joined her business, and they are now an RVP partnership. And their Arbonne story is still being written, which I love. And then Shandi and Adrian believe that no matter your race, socioeconomic background, educational level, age, or gender, anybody can find true success with Arbonne. You guys, and that is, oh, I love that. She's a former ACE award winner, and that is Areas of Consistent Excellence. It's a really tough one to win. And between Shandi and Adrian have earned 5 AIT trips. And Adrian is a senior pastor of a thriving church in Greensboro, and Shandi is a former Big Four CPA. So she's smart with numbers, y'all. They live in High Point, North Carolina, with 5 daughters. Andrea, they've got you beat. Andrea has 3. Kristen, Sydney, Carmen, Courtney, and Victoria. And I am just so excited to welcome you, Shandi, and thank you. And I'm going to give it to you because we all are here for you. So.
Okay. Well, Polly, I just want to say thank you. This is an honor. It's always an honor to be asked to share with other teams, but I am just honored because Polly has shared and poured into my team. And I think yours is one of the best in Arbonne. And I'm just praying that one day you're going to be on the big stage because I think it's powerful. And I talk about you a lot, even though I don't think we've ever met in person. And Polly, I remember us connecting, and I was driving to my oldest daughter, either to pick her up or something. And Polly called, I think, because she needed inspiration, but she ended up inspiring me at a time I really, really needed it. So I just love the way God works like that. But thank you so much again. So just to tell you a little bit about my story, and I want to kind of get through it and give you some of my tips because I love answering questions. And so, Polly, you didn't tell me how much time I have.
Like 7 till 8 o'clock. Is that enough? And you know what? If you go over, I guarantee you we're all going to be listening with open ears. So don't worry.
I'm a rush because I'm long-winded. Okay, that's one of my that's something I'm working on. All right. So basically, the long and short of it, this is not my first network marketing opportunity. I had tried 2 other businesses before Arbonne. I'm a rare case. I believed in network marketing and felt like it was my dream profession when I first learned of it. But my husband didn't think so because I had started and stopped before and failed miserably, never made more than $500. And he was like, you cannot walk away from your job for that. And so he basically banned me from ever getting on a call, listening to, trying products. I mean, basically we had made an agreement. I was forced to it, but I agreed. And I went back on my word when I heard about Arbonne. I'm a former CPA, and so I actually, this is so God, I still can't believe it, but I had the opportunity to audit a network marketing company. And that's the only reason why I am even here today, because I would have thought this was too good to be true. But one of our office's top clients was, and they still are, number 10 network marketing company in the whole entire world. And so that was my exposure. And after that, I started doing my research to figure out which company I would join. 2 bad experiences, and then I was introduced to Arbonne in June of 2006. And because Adrian was so against me ever doing anything like this, when I finally said yes, when I finally got him to agree with me, I jumped in with both feet. We had made a decision that by 12/31/2006, I was leaving my job. And I tell people all the time, it wasn't really faith that drove me in Arbonne, it was fear. I was afraid because I made a very strong 6-figure income. And to walk away from that, I was fearful to do it. And so I needed Arbonne to work for me. And so I jumped in with both feet, and I'm going to kind of interweave the rest of my story into my tips. And so there are a couple of things that I would give you as some of my top tips, okay? I'm sure you've heard it different before, but maybe something will make it really come alive for you tonight. I pray that's the case. So the first tip that I would give is that you really need to understand the blessing, the power of our business model. I am a huge, huge proponent of network marketing. I think it's one of the most rewarding businesses in the world, but it's not, of course, it's not easy, but I think it's very simple, and it's just common sense. And I think once you really understand what we have here in our hands, you will not treat it gingerly, okay? I just think that our industry, you know, from a distance is really bright and attractive, but if you don't really understand it, you're not going to project it well. And so you really have to understand what we do, and that Arbonne does it better than everybody else. I mean, from understanding the compensation plan to understanding the difference between this company and others, because even though I'm a huge proponent of network marketing, social marketing, all social marketing companies are not created equally. And from our compensation plan to our products, oh my God, and it wasn't even about the products that I joined, it was the compensation plan. And it was that the compensation plan was generous and it was doable that I jumped in. But now we have, but the products, the people, the culture, the vision, just the integrity. You all just don't understand. If you have not worked in other companies, you don't even know the gift that we have. But you need to understand the gift, because when you present this as a gift, the gift that it is, you won't feel rejection. You will feel remorse for the people who say no to you, okay? So you need to understand what we have, so that you can present it as such. You want it to be such that people are afraid not to join you, because you are presenting something that is so valuable and different than anything else that they can find. So I've never seen a business model where people from all walks of life, doesn't matter your age, your race, your ethnicity, your faith, your preferences, it levels the playing field. And I just don't know where else you can find anything like this, okay? So my first tip is to understand the power of the industry, but also what makes Arbonne different, okay? There are several books that you can read. I know you all, I'm sure Polly has given them all to you. But my second tip is to be coachable. And I think this was I talked about this with one of my team members tonight. I just think this made the difference for me, is that I was extremely coachable. And also because I knew this was my last shot, I didn't have time to figure things out. I just basically did as I was told. And my sponsor would say, Shandi, do that. She could have said jump, and I would have said how high. She would have said, if she would have said, run down the street, up and down, yelling, Arbonne, Arbonne, I would say, how many times do I need to do it? Well, how many times did you do it? And I was like, well, how much does the average person do it? And she would say they would do it 3 times. And I'd say, well, I'm going to do it 6. If they did 3, I'm going to do 6. And if you did 6, I'm going to do 9. I mean, that's how coachable I was. I let go of my ego. I let go of I put down my education. I put down my other businesses. And I acted like I was, basically like I knew nothing. And I was a sponge. And I did everything she told me to do. And I did more of it. And so a lot of people, I don't know if you know this about my story, Polly, but I actually promoted pretty quickly. She told me my job was to find my first 4 business partners as soon as possible. I said, well, how long did it take you? And she told me, and I said, well, I'm gonna do it faster than you. I'm kind of competitive too. And so she told me to find 4. I found 5 within my first month, and we went district and area qual. I finished district and went area qual my first month. I finished area my second month. I qualified for region my 3rd month, and we finished in 4 months, okay? And it's just because I was coachable, and she said, go after the smartest, most brilliant, most talented, most influential people. Go to them first and only talk about the business. And so I only talked about the business to the point where I never really talked about the product, but that's, I don't recommend you do that. But people would say no to me, and I would just put down the phone and I'd call the next person, okay? And so I've led with the business from the first day forward, and I still highly, highly recommend that you lead with the business, okay? My 3rd tip that I would like to share is that you really need to understand the power of duplication. You need to master this, or you're going to burn out in Arbonne. Like, if, I think my favorite quote from John Maxwell says, people who lead and no one follows are simply taking a walk. All right. You don't want to take a walk in Arbonne. You don't want to, you need to have a following. Okay. John Paul Getty always says he would rather have the efforts of, have 1% of his own efforts. The 1% of 100 men working rather than 100% of his own. He is a brilliant, brilliant man. And so if you understand what we're doing, we're basically just taking a system that we don't have to design. Who does this? You get a system, I call it a business in a box. You take the business out of the box and you follow the instructions. And a lot of you might be like me. I don't like reading manuals. I don't like doing all this. Like, I hate reading instructions, but I am a very good follower. And so duplication is basically taking the system, the business in the box, making it super simple, super fun, and showing other people how to do it. And what it produces is exponential growth. I think it's genius, okay? And so we're not saying be robotic, you get to put your personality into it, but that's what makes it fun, because you get to be you. But take what Polly and your leaders are sharing with you and just do it over and over and over again until you can do it in your sleep. I love when my kids, they think they're picking on me. I think it's actually a form of flattery when they sit across from me and they know what I'm going to say next to people, and they mock me and they're like, she's going to say this, she's going to do this. And and I'm like, obviously I must be doing my job well, because even my kids who aren't building the business know how to do this, okay? And so imagine if you only sponsor 1 person a month and you train that person to do what you do, and each month you duplicate that. Believe it or not, in 12 months, if you just teach 1 person to do what you're being asked to do, and you do that over and over and teach them to do the same, in 12 months, you would have over 4,000 people in your organization. you finding one per month. Now, I'm not recommending you only find one per month, but even if you only found one per month and taught them to do what you're doing, literally, we're talking about 4,000 clones of you. To me, that's a dream come true, okay? And the way that you do that is keep it simple, follow the system and the tracks that Polly and the teams before, the leaders before you have set before you, and you just ride down those tracks. I just think it's simple. And I don't think you should try to overcomplicate it, okay? What makes it exciting is we get to do it with other people, but it allows people to duplicate, all right? And it creates that depth in your organization, which is your security. But the beautiful thing about our compensation plan is that by adding other people, like I said, not just one a month, if you do 2 or 4 or 5 a month, nobody's going to be mad at you. And that will make you filthy, stinking rich, okay? But the depth and the duplication will allow you for your kids to be filthy, stinking rich. Does that make sense? Because it's a willable business. All right. So my next tip is that I have written down is that you want to allow your fears to drive you and not stop you. You know, in the beginning, I think I let my fear of my life being the same. I didn't share this. I don't know. I think Polly shared this in my introduction, that me and my husband are in full-time ministry. So we're pastors. We pastor 5 girls too. We parent and pastor them. And we pastor a lot of people out in the community. We just do a lot. And I was afraid that my husband was going to do all that by himself because I worked 60 hours a week. And so we had made the decision, because I was fearful that I wasn't going to be able to live out my dreams and purpose and passions, we made that decision to walk away from my job. But then I had the fear that we were going to be eating oodles and noodles, and we were going to have to sell our house, and we were going to have to totally change our lifestyle. So I let my fear of not being able to do what I was called to do drive me to do something different and try a third network marketing company. Then I let the fear of us being poor or being without so much that I had worked for drive me to be successful. So when I first started, my sponsor said, you want to put your goals in terms of good, great, awesome. And so again, I said, well, what did you do? Well, she had made it to region in 6 months. So I said, well, that shows that it's possible. If I do what you did, I should be able to cut the time by at least a month. I told you I'm competitive. And so I had my goals like, okay, my good goal was to do it in 7 months. My great goal was to do it in 6 months. My awesome goal was to do it in 5. And I don't know what's better than awesome. And I know my results are not normal, but I was so afraid that life was going to stop. We were going to be like, literally, I was going to have to move in with my parents. And I let those fears drive me to do the things that I needed to do and to do it consistently. And so I don't recommend, unless you are about to lose your home or something like that crazy, I don't recommend anybody trying to do region in 4 months. I'm not saying, but I'm showing you what's possible. But it's not necessary. My life was completely out of balance. And the sacrifices are made. A lot of people don't talk about the sacrifices they make to go so fast. And I don't necessarily, I'm not making that, what am I saying? I don't want you to think that that's important, okay? Because nothing could have told me I would not be a national vice president this day and age, because I did region so fast, but because I had to learn a lot that I didn't learn in those 4 months is what I'm saying, okay? But let your fears, what is making you afraid to do this, turn it around and make it the reason why you have to do it and what drives you. We always talk about our why. I tell my team, look, let's think about what if you don't do Arbonne, what is life going to look like? Like, let that type of fear drive you, not people saying no to you, because that's kind of silly if you really think about it. But what if you don't do Arbonne? What is that going to make your life like if you don't do it? Okay, I don't know why I'm not articulating well tonight. I'm sorry. I hope this is making sense.
You're doing amazing. I'm
not talking clearly. I'm glad my kids aren't around because they would be critiquing my conversation tonight. I'm a little bit more articulate normally. All right. My next tip, and I'm really preaching to myself right now, is that you got to stop making this about you. All right. And I am convinced that the reason why I am not a national vice president is because God is still working on me about me. You know, one, I completed my first why very quickly, you know, which was to walk away from my job. And then it took me a long, long time to figure out what next. But I have been, every time I think about what's next, it used to come back to me. And I have finally, after over a decade, realized that it's really not about me, okay? It's about the other people's lives that I get to touch. The other people in this company that need me to go nation, because they need to see that it's possible. I see some other beautiful brown faces on this call, which I don't always when I do calls for other people. Now, when I talk to my team, we're mostly beautiful brown faces. But I said, I got to do this for my team and all the other people that need an example. And you all, it has taken me 13 plus years to finally get that. And even when I do get it, I drop it too quickly. But now it's really about me showing other people what is possible. And so stop making it about you and give the gift away. And it's hard when we're talking about us, but I give that advice to my team a lot. But really, it's not about you. I want you to dig deep and say, God, why? Because, I mean, he could have given us many other ways to make money and to pay off our debt and to buy a dream home. He could have done it, but why did you place me in Arbonne, and whose life am I supposed to touch with this business, right? So please, please, please stop, get over yourself, right? I'm really, that was for me. That one was for me. All right, the next tip I wanna say is stop playing small because it serves no one. This is something else I learned about my business. You know, I mentioned that I went pretty fast to region, which was my goal. I didn't have many goals after that, but that was what I wanted to do. And I used to talk about my successes and my journeys, you know, a lot, because it used to inspire people. And they're like, oh my gosh, it would show people what they could do. And then I had someone on my team, a leader, who was kind of small-minded, but I didn't realize that at first, said, you know, you really need to stop telling that because it makes all of us feel bad about ourselves. And then I started feeling ashamed of it. So literally, if you had asked me, like, I couldn't wait to redo my ELA because my first ELA talked about that. I couldn't, and I would stop giving it out until they redid it for me, because I started feeling like, oh my gosh, am I being braggadocious? Is that pride? Like, why was I thinking that was a good thing? Because most people weren't able to do that. And and then the Lord just checked me on that, said, that's their issue, not you, because you worked your tail off. Because I did, okay? I worked and that's another reason why I'm not a national vice president yet, because I have not worked that hard since I made it to region. That's the truth, okay? And so you've got to stop playing small. And when God blesses you and favors you, it's not about you, it's about Him being glorified and other people being drawn to you. So I want to encourage you to paint the vision, dream, I mean, we are supposed to, we're supposed to believe that God can do exceeding and abundantly above all that we can ask, think, or imagine. That gives us permission to exaggerate, and we need to paint that picture and show people where you're going so they will want to follow. Okay? So that's my that tip. So stop playing small because it is not helping anybody. Okay? The next one, I want you to create a sense of urgency about this business, because even though Arbonne's not going anywhere, I mean, Arbonne's not going anywhere, but Arbonne is also going to a place that we've never been before. So you don't want to be on the late bus, okay? So you want to get on the bus now so that you can go with us, because I think regret is a very dangerous emotion or state of mind, okay? So you don't want to say, oh my gosh, I missed that last wave, okay? Polly, you've been in for a while like me. We have not seen anything. It's been a long time since we've seen or felt what we're experiencing now. Am I correct?
Yeah, and Andrea, my sponsor's on the phone too, so she's been in. Yeah, she was driving, so you might not see her face yet. She's got her beautiful picture up there, but she was in a year before me, so I think going on 15 years, Andrea, I think.
Yeah.
I'm like 14, and so we're all kind of in that same boat, but absolutely, this is like, I'm so excited for the direction we're going.
Because we have direction. Well, I'm not going to go there, but it's so much bigger than being a $1 billion company. And it's the reason why we want to be a $1 billion company. That's the type of vision you need to paint for people, okay? And you need to do it, and you need to do it with urgency. People want to follow those who are going someplace. And so if you're just taking a walk, most people have much more important things to do than take a walk, okay, with you. But people, if you treat this business like a hobby, you're going to get hobby results. But from day one, I treated it like $1 million business. And I'll just tell you, since I'm not playing small anymore, when we got to region, it was like a whirlwind. I didn't know all the people on my team. Well, I was just sat back and we had our celebration. And afterwards, we were just like, oh my gosh, this is beautiful. Look what we've done. Look what we've created. And I started asking people, tell me, I hadn't met you. Why? Or I hadn't had a chance to really talk to you. Why did you say yes to Arbonne? And I'll never forget this one young lady named Felicia. She said, I was afraid not to. That's the type of conviction that I had. Like I told people, we're creating a movement. We're doing something huge. You want to be a part. We can do this with or without you. You decide. Come on. We'd love to have you. But if not, get out of our way. And that's what I had when I first started. And that's what I'm getting back. I'm getting my mojo back. Okay. And so that's what you have to do. You have to create a sense of urgency, a hype. Let people know where you're going to take them. Like I haven't seen all of it, but I am going to take you to the promised land if you come with me. No, I haven't. There are many people who've gotten there before me, but let me tell you what I'm going to be able to do for you, and people will follow. So you've got to create some momentum, a sense of urgency, and paint the picture. I heard this at one of my almas. I had never heard it before, but they said, you know what VP stands for? Vision painter. So you got to paint the vision and paint it very clear. And you have room to exaggerate, okay? I want to encourage you to do so. The last thing I want to share is that you just need to give it enough time, okay? Be patient. Don't get frustrated. Listen to me and Polly. We know, I mean, it's nothing you could have told us that we would not have been able to describe what Maui looked like for you yet. I mean, right, Polly? I mean, we just thought we'd be there, but don't, and I know you hear it all the time, but be patient. I wish my husband was here. He had to go pick up one of my daughters because he tells the story of the Chinese bamboo farmer, and he preaches it, and y'all would be raising your hands even if you don't praise like that. Talks about the Chinese bamboo farmer, and how our job is to just plant seeds. Our like literally our job is to be that farmer to plant seeds. And then don't you worry, because God's not going to be mocked. And if you sow it, you're going to reap it. But there is a type of plant, you can plant grass seed, and in a week or so, you'll start seeing it bud. You'll see grass start coming. And, some plants, some seeds produce the harvest quicker, okay? But then it's that Chinese bamboo plant that once you plant that seed, it goes down before it comes up, okay? And what's so powerful is that it takes 5 years for that plant to ever start coming up through the ground. But from the time it comes through the ground, it can grow up to 6 feet within like just a matter of weeks, okay? And so he says, Shandi, don't worry. You're planting bamboo seed. You're planting bamboo seed. And it might take you 5 years to see what other people's seed comes up. But you best believe it's the strongest plant you can find. I mean, you all, they're making shirts. When we earned one of those trips, and we found people were making bamboo shirts. We weren't even crazy about them, but we're like, we got to do it, because that's a promise for us that we are creating a bamboo forest, because we're planting the seeds. We're planting, and we know that we will reap a harvest. And so give it enough time. I think one of the saddest things that happens is when people quit before payday. And payday is not just once a month or every Tuesday when we get our commissions. I'm talking about the payday, the big payday. And so give it enough time, because if you plant, you will reap. You don't even have to have a faith or a belief in a particular faith to know that if you plant seeds, it is going to grow. Okay, so I'm gonna stop right here. That's kind of what I wanted to share. I'm way over my time, so.
No, you're good. That was just, I took so many notes, and what's so funny is I just ordered a bamboo t-shirt. Probably not the same, but I just think, whoa, what, it just like made out of bamboo, I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I did that. That's so perfect. But this is what we mean, you guys, when we say, if you're new, if you've never heard that Arbonne is a self-development company wrapped around skincare and nutrition, this is what we mean is, where else do you go? And it's just, you get poured into like this. And, so it is not just, that's what Shandi means. And if you did, one thing that you kind of referred to, Shandi, with our new leadership and the way that we're going, if y'all have seen this yet, that the statement that we don't want to be the best in the world, we want to be the best for the world. And I know that's what you were thinking about.
Yes.
And that right there, if that doesn't give you goosebumps, like to me, that was like, when I heard that, I was like, oh my gosh, y'all, what, that is so much purpose for us as Arbonne consultants to go out and share this. It just is, if it wasn't already. So, but I guess, I didn't really think about if we have time for questions or not. I don't know if anybody maybe has a burning desire. I'd love to let Yen, if she has any questions for you, because this is kind of a little bit of a treat, because Miss Yen right there has been the sponsoring queen lately. So I wanted to make sure I did this for her. So yay. And we're so grateful for everything you shared, Shandi. And Yen, I'm going to let you, if you have anything to ask of your mentor coach lady here.
Yes. And I know it's so funny too, because Shandi and I have actually talked over Facebook, and we've tried to do like a Facebook Live together, but haven't gotten on the calendar yet. So we know each other, which is awesome. But thank you so much. I honestly feel like I could cry because of how much amazing personal development is involved in Arbonne, and I feel like it's like so beautiful. I don't know why the heck I'm crying right now. Like I really never. I don't even know why, but I just like, it's like amazing. So thank you. Woo! Okay. But I guess my one question would be, because I like totally understand what you're saying, and I feel like especially with my team, we are a lot of women of color are part of my team. And I've told my sponsor
and men.
I don't know where Devontae is, but and men too. And I've told my sponsor Gabby, like, that I think the main reason why I feel like we gotta go region, we gotta go nation, and getting everyone involved is because there are so many people who need to know what Arbonne is, and particularly people of color who need to be in on this, because it does level the playing field in an incredible way, and it's such a gift. And as much as I love Arbonne right now, it looks like one big sorority. So I'm like, okay, let's switch it around. Like, we gotta, boost it up and stuff. And like, I am so grateful for the leaders that have come before me, of course, but it's a new day and age. So I guess all of that is to say, my question being, of people who are of, brown, Black skin, there's a lot of course, skepticism. I feel like us as a community has a lot of trauma. Of course, we're very untrusting, and for someone like me and maybe Crystal and Jessica, if she's still on the call, or whoever, and even everyone else who, of course, are going to come across people of color and want to share this business with them, what is the best way to get them? I don't want to say like get them to believe, because I don't know, we don't like really persuade. We just like give out the information and you do what you want with it. But when you feel such a burning passion to be like, why are you not listening to me? Like, this will change your life in a crazy, crazy way. And Arbonne needs you right now. And, especially because like they need to see more people of color at the top. Like, sorry, that was a long-winded question, but I guess what is your advice to that? And, I don't know, something along those lines.
Okay, great question. You need to do what you just said. I literally, when I talk to women of color, I'm like, oh my gosh, I've never seen such an opportunity where we are finally at the right place at the right time. Because in 10 years, people of color at the top will be a dime a dozen. You have an opportunity to come in and be a trailblazer. I mean, literally, where else do you have, it's kind of crazy when you think about it. When else can you be a trailblazer in a 40-year-old company that's so established and cutting edge and moving forward? Where else can that happen? And so you have to paint the vision. Like I tell people, oh my gosh, my company is looking for women of color just like you. You can be one of the leaders. You can be at the top. And I share all the opportunities that I've had. And it's because, it's not because, well, God's hand is on me. It's God's favor, but it's also because it's not a bunch of competition. Not competition, that's a horrible word because we don't use that in our, but it's not a lot of choices. Right? And so, but where else is that? So use it as a positive. And so when I first started, because I am one of those people too, I'm like, I just need to see one person of color. Has anybody Black ever gotten to a VP level? This was before Facebook and social media. They called all the way to the corporate office, like, please tell us, has there ever been a Black person to get to VP? And you all know the craziest thing, she lived in my city. And she went to my university. That was God saying, Shandi. And so I just needed to see one, and I could call her on the phone. I met her.
Is it Monique? Is it Monique?
No, she's not even in the business anymore. Oh, she's
not, okay.
I guess she felt I was competition. I don't know. She was like, well, I did it first and that's all I wanted, but no.
That's awesome.
I don't get it. But anyway, oh my gosh, I just needed to see one. So my point is, so to answer your question, Yen, and I know we still need to find a way to do our Facebook Live. I was saying that before you got on the phone. You got to show them what this is an opportunity. And with the colors of Arbonne, we now have a tool to show them, like, that we are on purpose. And I do this for every person of color. I do it for every, honestly, minority in Arbonne, because honestly, white men are minorities in Arbonne.
Right.
All minorities. I'm like, oh my gosh, we're looking for people just like you, because it's true. And so then you point to the tools, because now you have a
60-year-olds are a minority.
Right. So we're looking for.
I'm sorry, Shandi, I'm teasing you.
No, it's kind of true. Like, yeah. I've turned it into an opportunity instead of like a disadvantage.
Yeah.
But then you also have to understand everybody's not going to see it. And some people will only see it once you do. And this is what very quickly, I want, when people start, my sponsor said, think of the 5 people that you would want on your basketball dream team. And the first person I called almost made me quit. And if it weren't for Adrienne, because she laughed at me, she said, oh my God, you're doing that again. One of those, and she poo-pooed me so bad. And I quit for a few minutes. And I told Adrienne, I was like, I can't do this because Angela said, and he got so angsty, like, you better pick up that ball. And when I invited her to, you best believe, she was one of the first people that got an invitation to my car presentation. And after it was over, and you could see her, she just kept looking for me. And she just kept waiting for me. After everybody had gone, even my team, I was like, okay, what is it? I was like, you're going to wait for me. And so I said, what'd you think? And she said, why did you not make me listen? She said, I sat at a table and all of those people could have been on my team. So my point is, try to show them, paint the picture of what could, but if they say no, just invite them to the car presentation.
That is so awesome. That is so awesome. I actually recently had someone say the same thing to me. She actually said to me, and she joined a company, but she's not real happy. She's not doing that well, but she did say, I wish I had listened to you years before about network marketing, because it took her about 8, 9, 10 years to do it at all. And she's buying nutrition from me now because her company doesn't have that. So yeah, we are planning. But I just want to say thank you so much, you guys. I wish we had all night. We don't. But if you have some questions, maybe I can send them later if it's something specific for you, Shandi. But we're so grateful. Thank you for pouring into us. I felt like I went to church tonight too, and that was amazing.
If you ever get Adrienne on, you definitely will. So
I love it. And are you going to be? You are speaking at GTC at. Are you on this doing anything at GTC?
Are you prophesying? No, I have not heard of anything.
Okay.
However, I will be at the Colors of Arbonne in LA.
Oh, okay.
You're out there, correct? We're doing the.
Yes, and thank you for reminding me. I have to. It's for the Black History Month, right? The one in February.
Right. Mm-hmm.
I have to register for it. So yeah, I will see you.
I will be there, but have not heard anything about GTC.
Okay, well, eventually you'll be speaking, and as we'll be on stage together. How about that?
Exactly.
Well, thank you. Any parting words of wisdom for us?
I just wish you all the best, and do not let this moment slip you by. Polly, I'm talking to you especially. We cannot miss our moment. It's our time. Look, I sound like the video. It's our time to flourish.
I know.
Okay?
Yes.
Take it. Let's do it.
You.
All right. Love you all. Thank you so much.
You.
All right.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye, everybody. Thank you.